So let's face it, we all want to cruise in luxury or on a luxury cruise, but we want to do it without breaking the bank. Let's talk about it. Most people assume that luxury cruises come with a luxury price tag, but it doesn't have to be that way. There are proven ways to access those top tier amenities and exclusive experiences for less. I'm revealing how to unlock those hidden deals and maximize your value here. The final strategy I'm going to talk about is the one that saved us the most money. And not a lot of people know about it, so stick around. First thing, book during the right time. Well, I've talked about this before, but it's really important. Booking your cruise, not when are you going on the cruise, but when you book it, has a good, how do I say this? It makes a difference when you book it. When that demand for cruises is lower, just like anything else in retail, there's peaks and valleys. Peak seasons, Christmas, New Year, and the summer months. Prices skyrocket during those times. And the first month to 2 months of the year, the prices are the highest because that's when the demand is highest. Okay. Look at booking your cruise in the late fall or the early spring. So late September, October, March, April-ish. A lot of times you're going to get good prices because it's a lull. Like a lot of people book cruises as Christmas gifts, or Hanukkah gifts, So demand is high there. January through March, in the industry, they call it wave season. The cruise lines put out huge amounts of marketing and promotions that time of year because people tend to book for the next year in the beginning of the year. So they put out a lot of promotions. And just like with any other kind of retail, sometimes promotions are not as good as they're made out to be. I'm not saying that they're lying or anything like that, but they're really good at marketing. So wait until after March, wait until April, early May, before kids are out of school, before summer really, gets into full swing. Look then, or wait until kids are back in school, the humdrum, late September into October, when people are kind of just grinding it out, not really thinking about vacation, not thinking about making plans. A lot of times you're going to see interesting opportunities there. Cruise lines will offer different perks at all times, but during those slower times, if you keep an eye out, you're going to see larger onboard credits, more discounted rates. They're going to throw in additional amenities, things like that. Last minute bookings, this one I do not feel is as valid as it used to be. Years ago, you could, wait until a week or 2 weeks before you're sailing and call up the cruise line or call up your travel agent and say, hey, I'm looking at this, this sailing leaving Sunday the 21st. What deals they got going on for their unsold inventory? They don't do that as much as they used to. They've gotten a lot better at pre-filling their ships 6 months out, especially since COVID. After COVID, people, and revenge travel, people are booking 6, 12, 18, 20 months out. So those last minute deals, I'm sure you can still get them occasionally, but I don't prescribe to that method. Okay. Loyalty programs, repeat cruiser discount. This is an area that you can definitely, hello, Elio, that you can definitely get some deals on, especially the higher up in these loyalty programs you are. Once you hit 100 nights, 125 nights, with a particular cruise line, you're really going to start to notice some benefits, whether it be cabin upgrades, straight out discounts, amenities, extra onboard credit, different value, increased value. You can also you can get specialty dining, you can get onshore excursions, you can get early boarding, priority boarding, things like that. They can really add up to significant savings and, upgrades, obviously. You get free Wi-Fi, all that stuff. So when you look at the cost of the cruise, a lot of people look at just the cost of the fare. The cost to get on that ship. Look at the overall value of what you're getting. Okay. So if you think about it, yes, it costs you $2,000 to get on board the ship. Okay. For that 7-day sailing. Well, then you got to pay another $30, $40, $50 per person per day for Wi-Fi. You got to pay, another $50 to $80 per person for each specialty dining and, your drinks and excursions and. So that $2,000 cruise might actually cost you $5,000. Well, if you play your cards right and you work the system or have a travel agent work it for you, all of that be able to get thrown in, and you still only spend $4,000. Look at the total value, not just the base fare. Another way to, I don't want to say beat the system, but work the system is to use a travel agent who specializes in luxury trips, like my wife and I. Using somebody who's experienced not just in the travel business, but in the luxury business, knows where to find the best deal, knows who's got what promos going on, and has built relationships with the cruise lines, particularly the premier cruise lines. All right, let me give you an example. Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. Right now, let's say you want to book a balcony room. You're looking at roughly $2,000 per person for a balcony room. Then you got to buy your drink package. Then you got to buy your excursions and your Wi-Fi, and on and on and on. Plus your cost of your airfare to get there, transportation, all of that. Okay, you're looking at $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for a balcony. Now you get a really good deal. You can probably get it all for $7,000. Now you find somebody who knows the game and knows the value of all the cruise lines, not just Royal, and they might be able to find you a balcony on a Regent Seven Seas ship for $7,000 that includes airfare and drinks and basic excursions. Okay, you might be paying $1,000 more, maybe, but you're getting a much better experience, a much more elevated experience, an experience where their main dining room has better ratings than the specialty restaurants on most major cruise lines, the specialty restaurants on most major ships. Find somebody who knows how to explore all the options. Look for exclusive offers, look for bundled deals, look for, we can look for, those, okay, your airfare is included, or shore excursions are included, or, okay, you pay the price for an ocean view and we can get you a junior suite. There's a lot of ways to play the game. Let's put it that way. Looking for package deals, whether you use a travel agent or you do it on your own. A lot of the more premium cruise lines are going to offer you airfare bundles, discounted flights if you book through them. Now, as I've said before, I don't like to book the airfare with the major cruise lines. That's the major cruise lines. Now, if we're talking Regent Seven Seas, if we're talking Seabourn, if we're talking Celestial, if we're talking about those premier, that's a whole different animal, because with a lot of those, you get to choose what flights you want, or your travel agent can choose it for you. And if you're booking with me, I'm going to talk to the cruise line and I'm going to say, listen, you depart on Saturday. I want my client's airfare to arrive by 3 p.m. on Friday. Yes, they'll pay for an extra night at hotel, but I want that flight arriving the day before. So there's bundles out there that can increase the value of that cruise. Look for pre-cruise hotel packages. A lot of luxury cruise lines offer either discounted or complimentary hotel stays pre or post cruise. So for a couple extra $100, you can, if you're sailing out of Barcelona, okay, if it's going to cost you an extra $200 or $300, but you can get there on Wednesday or Thursday and you don't leave till Saturday, there's value there. Make sense? Look for, other bundles, other savings that, maybe they include, a specialty dining reservation. Maybe they include transportation to the port. Maybe they include specialty dining and Wi-Fi and excursions. There's a lot of different packages available that will get your total value of your cruise significantly higher, and it will be a much better experience. If you want, you can, there are discount websites out there that you can set up alerts. Places like Cruise Critics, Vacations to Go, and Cruise Direct, they purchase in bulk from the major cruise lines, so they can get special deals that the average travel agent can't get, or that the average person can't get by booking direct with the cruise line. Be wary of places like this, because you're not going to get a whole lot of support through them. If anything goes wrong, if anything needs to change, it's sometimes like a hassle to get any help. Look at Google Flights or Skyscanner to track price drops for cruises, not just for flights, but for cruises as well. Be flexible with your itinerary. Like, look at alternative ports. Luxury cruise lines are usually a lot smaller. The ship size is a lot smaller. So you're going to have destination options that you don't get. Since I already used, I'm going to stick with Icon of the Seas. Icon of the Seas is the largest cruise ship in the world currently. That cruise ship cannot get into small cruise ports. It needs a massive pier to tie up to, and or a significant tender fleet to service it. So you're not going to Barbados, you're not going to Barbuda, you're not going to Anguilla on the Icon. It just can't fit. To me, that's an opportunity. That there's a value in that. To me, that's worth money. Going somewhere that I've never been. I've been to pretty much every major island and port in the Caribbean. I pay extra to go to some of these smaller ports that the big ships can't get to. There's a value in that, to me at least. Okay. Another thing, be flexible with your dates if there's any way to be flexible. Certain sailings are going to be more expensive than others because, it's over a holiday or it's during spring break when kids are off from school. Look for those one-offs, so that you're not battling 5,000 other or 10,000 other people. Take advantage of onboard spending credits and those special offers. Onboard credits, there's value to them. That's real money. If you plan accordingly and use them correctly, specialty dining, spa treatments, if you want excursions, if you want to wait until you're on board for the excursions, that's going to save you money by using that onboard credit. A lot of people think it's useless. Yeah, no, it's not. That's real money. Signing up for the cruise line newsletters, you're going to see offers before just about anybody else except for a travel agent. Now, the secret strategy, it's a game changer, but you have to be confident in what you're doing to use it effectively. We're talking about non-refundable fares. There are times where cruise lines will offer special non-refundable fares. They're going to save you 10, 20, 25% off the regular price. Because once you book it, you cannot unbook it. You can't cancel it. You can't transfer it. You can't do name changes. Okay. Once you're booked on it, either you're going or you're losing the money. But if you know for sure that your schedule's locked in, that you have that time available, something to think about. Risks and rewards, you lose some flexibility because you can't change it, because you can't do anything with it except go or lose the money. Upside, the savings can add up. I've seen fares where you're getting a balcony for $1,500 total. That's for two of you, not each total, which pretty good deal. Yeah. If you're going to do this, make sure that you get yourself a good travel insurance policy, not one from the cruise line. Get a separate one from a company like Allianz or somebody like that. Okay. Make sure that it's a cancel for any reason. Make sure that it covers non-refundable cruises. So now that you know a good amount on how to score that luxury cruise for less, you're going to need to know about the ugly truth about cruise fitness. Because if you don't, you could end up gaining more than just memories. I'm going to show you how to avoid that in this video.